Boys, it's fight week, UFC 314 this Saturday, and if this is the first time you've watched one of my rare locks videos, pretty much your boy is going to give you 5 rare locks that are 110% going to happen either during, after, or before UFC 314. And again, they're a lock, so if you find any of these prompts on any gambling website, I need you to quickly and swiftly take out as much debt as you can. Put it on these prompts. If they have multiple on that, put that shit on a parlay, because best believe, just quickly go into debt for a few minutes and then you will become a quadrillion, trillion, bajillionaire without a shadow of a doubt. But with that being said, this isn't any gambling advice. Number 1 on my list and number 5 on my list doesn't really matter. They're just in completely random order. Number 1 isn't as likely to happen as number 5. But with that being said, first thing I have for my rare locks of UFC 314, 100,000% the Bible will be making its return. Either be at the post-fight interviews, the face-offs, the walkout, the pre-fight interviews. I could see Bryce Mitchell showing up with a Bible necklace. I could see him showing up to the interviews with a Bible necklace. I could see him on the face-off with Silva having a Bible straight in his face, just yelling scriptures to Silva, casting away the demons. I could see him running towards the octagon during the walkouts with a Bible, yelling freedom, yelling Jesus, yelling all the crazy stuff that we know from Bryce Mitchell. Best believe the Bible will be making a return at UFC 314. With that being said, that's a pretty easy one. But second one on this list, I have a feeling, we have seen some absolute garbage judging in the past few fight cards, but I got a weird feeling that the judging is going to be on point this card. There will be no weird 30-27s. There'll be no weird judging, no weird split decisions. Everything will be neat and on point. However, yes, the judging is going to be on point, but the refs is going to be hot garbage. Tally it up now. 5 nut shots and 6 eye pokes with 0 points taken away. Not to mention that I guarantee we're going to have at least 4 fence grabs that the judges will say, get your hands, get your feet, get your toes, get your fingers out of that cage. And again, we will have 0 points taken away with over 15 fouls during the entire card. Mark my words, that shit's going to happen. It is impossible for us to have good judging and good refereeing at the same time. It's just impossible. I'm feeling like there's going to be some good judging. With that being said, if there's good judging, we got some absolute garbaggio refereeing going around. That being said, number 3, I don't see a lot of people talking about this, but this is a real thing that, I could 100% see happening. Now, I have 4 dudes on this list that I think could possibly retire after UFC 314, depending on how their fight goes. First guy, obviously, Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins is getting there up on age. He's been here forever. This dude is 40 years old. He's been in the UFC for I don't even know how long now. I'm quickly going through his career and seeing when the first time this dude was in the UFC. All the way back in 2010. And if that doesn't say how old this dude is, how long he's been in the UFC, I don't know what does. Darren Elkins definitely a contender of retiring depending on how well he does in his fight. I do think Julian Erosa is going to beat him. And if he does beat him, I could see Darren Elkins calling it quits there and retiring. With that being said, moving down, people are going to say, what about Jim Miller? Jim Miller, I don't think Jim Miller is going to retire. I'm pretty sure he said a few times that he wants to get to a certain amount of wins or total fights. I forget what it was, but win or lose, I don't think he's retiring. A guy I could see retiring depending on how he does this fight if he gets knocked out, Dominick Reyes. I don't see Dominick Reyes sticking around too long. Again, if even the fact that he's on a win streak doesn't really matter that much to me, because again, this dude's chin is dust. If he gets knocked out again brutally, I think he starts looking at his health and, his long-term health, and he says, yeah, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Coming back a 3-fight brutal knockout spree. Granted, now he's on a 2-fight knockout spree himself. I do see him getting knocked out. I don't think he's going to keep fighting after. If he's smart, he'll retire, is what I'm trying to say. Moving down, this might be a surprising one for you guys, but I got Michael Chandler here. Michael Chandler, if he does lose, say goodbye to that Conor fight. Say goodbye to a lot of big name fights. Like, let's look at the top 15 in lightweight right now, especially if he loses. So if he loses to number 12th ranked Patty, let's just say he's ranked number 11 after that. Who are you going to give him? Are you going to give him Fiziev? I don't know about that. Are you going to give him Benoit Saint-Denis, Grant Dawson, Ignacio Bahamondes? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to give him someone above the rankings either. So I could 100% see Michael Chandler calling it quits after getting finished by Paddy Pimblett. If he doesn't retire, he'll do one more fight and then retire. But I could 100% see him cutting a nasty promo while retiring at UFC 314. It just makes sense. He's made the money. He doesn't need the money anymore. And at this point, like, if he loses to Paddy, say goodbye again. Say goodbye to the Conor fight. Say goodbye to ever becoming champion. And if he does want to say it's just going to be for fun fights, it's just going to be for money fights pretty much. And yeah, unless they just feed him to up-and-coming contenders, I could 100% see Michael Chandler versus Bahamondes, like, after he loses to Paddy Pimblett. I could see that shit happening. Moving down, the final guy I have that could possibly retire at UFC 314 is going to be Volkanovski. You're telling me, okay, right now, Volkanovski has been saying time and time again, he only cares about the belt. He's coming for that belt. The belt is the only thing that matters. If he loses again, you're telling me he doesn't retire? I think, a lot of people say that the Volkanovski fight is a 50-50 type of fight. So if it is 50-50, it's a 50-50 whether he retires too, because I don't think Volkanovski is going to be the type of guy to... I don't think he's going to be a Tony Ferguson. I hope he's not going to act like a Tony Ferguson and stay way, way too long. If he gets out here, he's on a good training camp. He said he hasn't been drinking. He hasn't been doing all this. He's been perfect. We should see a prime Volkanovski. And if he gets out there and gets caught, if he gets beaten all 5 rounds, just outclassed, if he gets knocked out again, I guarantee he's going to retire. But yeah, I guarantee out of the 4 guys I just mentioned, one of them will retire. Let's go into number 4. Now, I don't know how confident I am on this. It makes so much sense. The UFC love to announce big cards after their pay-per-views, and we've already had the Sean O'Malley one. We're still missing some pretty key name champions. So I have Jon Jones, Ilia Topuria, or DDP fight announced during, after, or somewhat in between of UFC 314. Jon Jones, obviously, if that fight gets announced, it's going to be Tom Aspinall. I could see Jon Jones' retirement / getting stripped of the belt announced. I could see that happening. Ilia Topuria, I'm hoping it's Makhachev, but it's seeming like it's going to be fucking Charles Oliveira, which is okay. It's not what I wanted. It's not what a lot of us wanted. It is what it is. I could see that being announced. DDP obviously is going to be for Chimaev. Those are the 3 fights I could see being announced, or I could see Jon Jones being stripped of the title. Let's get into the 5th and final one. The one I am the most confident on. The one I am going to bet my entire life saving on, because I know for a fact this shit's going to happen. We are going to see a prime Volkanovski performance at UFC 314, other than round 1 and halfway through round 2, because I think this dude's going to be a little bit hesitant / ring rusted. But if you watch my prediction video, you know how he's going to get it done. We're going to see prime Volkanovski. We're going to see a Volkanovski that a lot of people are going to say he's going to be here for a while. And the narrative after the fight will be a full camp, not recently knocked out Volkanovski beats Ilia in the rematch. That's what the narrative is going to be. And I am confident that this dude is getting it done. Now, I'm praying I'm not jinxing myself and I'm not jinxing my boy Volk. But if Volk doesn't get it done, if he gets knocked out, don't come to school tomorrow. That's all I gotta say, But with that being said, let me know in the comments below, do you guys have any rare predictions of your own of something that you think is gonna happen at 314? And to be honest, I'm just counting the days till I get to see prime Volk back in there. Is this all just massive cope? Probably. If he ends up losing, am I gonna be distraught? Am I gonna be depressed? Am I gonna do something that I'm gonna regret? Probably. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. Put your guys' rare locks in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next video.